Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I just wanted to go over chapter 6 in The Body Clutter, and also just do a short check-in. I had, let's see, last Monday, I think I talked about this in my last video, I had surgery on my hand for a trigger finger, and it's healing up pretty well. It's still bothersome, but it's doing well. And that was Tuesday, that this last Tuesday that I had the post-op appointment, and I just have to do a few exercises now and wait a little longer to do some massages on there as well. And then on Monday, this last Monday, I had an appointment with my endocrinologist for blood work for an ultrasound, what do you call it, results. So I had an ultrasound done on my thyroid because I believe it was last year that I did the ultrasound, and I had a really tiny nodule on the right side of my thyroid, I believe. It hasn't changed. They said it's fine, just to keep checking on that. Also, when I went to have my A1C checked, I believe it was back in, it might have been November or December, I'm not sure. I did go over some of the stuff in my, I wrote some of it down just to kind of keep track, but I don't think I went, found the old A1C. What I was told, though, is at that time, which I believe was November or December, I was at a 9.4, which is really high. And right now, after taking Trulicity for 3 months this year, which, well, I started that, I believe, in December. I took it for 3 months, and then it's in March, early March, I started Mounjaro because I had a shortage in Trulicity, and so I'm on the 2.5 of Mounjaro, which I will stay on that until possibly November of this year, unless something changes, because right now there's a shortage on the, I believe, the 5 and the 7.5. So, and because I'm doing well on this one, I should be okay, because it did go down to a 6.0. So the goal, according to the endocrinologist, is for me to be under a 7, so I'm at a 6. If I can get it down a little further, that would be great. The other thing is, they did a test of, they did the not the ultrasound, but the thyroid TSHs and all that stuff. So I'm about a 3.1, I'm not sure, somewhere on there, but I've been within normal ranges, my thyroid. But she did another test, which I don't remember what she called it, but it's to check for autoimmune diseases. So I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's thyroiditis on Monday, which I've heard about before, but I didn't really know what it was. So I'm in the process of doing some research, and I have some really great friends, sisters in the Lord, who one who has it, and she's also a health coach, and so she shared some great information. Another one whose daughter has Hashimoto's, and she we exchanged one message. I have to respond back to her, but I'm hoping that just talking to people who have it and who have dealt with it a little longer than I have, I can get some ideas, because I have had hypothyroid diagnosed for about, I believe, 9 or 10 years, something like that. So from what I understand, from what I've read, having hypothyroid or having people in your family who have it, you can, you're more likely to get Hashimoto's. And one other statistics that I read was that it's happens more often in women than men, but, and it also seems to usually happen in middle age. If it hasn't happened, like when you're younger, you can get it when you're younger, but some changes that happen, I guess, in the body or something can trigger that. And some of the triggers that I read about were genetic, which is either someone in your family having it, or even hypothyroid, which I have that on my dad's side of the family. There's my dad as well as his sister and two of my cousins that I know about. On my mom's side of the family, I don't know anyone. And also there's I know with the Hashimoto's, there was something to do with if you've had a certain kind of virus. I don't know what exactly, but it's some kind of virus that can trigger that. Radiation exposure and stress. And so some of the stuff that I've talked about, being a highly stressed person, pretty much my entire life, I was always like worried about something. And so this is something I've been working on, and it's just interesting that now that I'm working on that, this new diagnosis comes about. But there's a lot of things that do make sense from what I've been told by some of the people who have it, the food sensitivities and different things like that, which is going to be really interesting to try to, excuse me, I didn't sleep well last night. It's going to be interesting to figure out how and what is affecting me. So, like I've done before, that elimination diet where I kind of eliminated everything except for fruits and vegetables and nuts and some, I think the only other thing I had, I didn't have very much bread or things like that. I did have like oatmeal though, and that never bothered me then, but I don't know, I never really paid attention because part of the problem is that Hashimoto's is an inflammatory disease. So what I've read, seen in some videos, and have been told by those who also struggle with it is a gluten-free, dairy-free diet is best. Also, I know someone told me with just hypothyroid that peanuts were not good for that. Also, I know the cabbage family and the nightshades, which that one is the one that's going to probably be the hardest for me because I love my chili. So, but what I'm going to do is kind of eliminate certain things, one thing at a time, just to kind of see what's affecting me. So I'm going to have to track my food in a different way. Instead of just tracking calories and, staying away from processed foods and stuff like that I'm trying to do already anyway, which for the most part, I don't have a lot of processed food except for beef hot dogs, the Nathan's beef hot dogs. Sometimes I think they're called State Fair beef corn dogs. But for the most part, I have a lot of whole food. But there's still some that I need to kind of work on. So I'm going to do some sort of tracking system, if any of you do this, where you kind of write down what you ate that day and how you're feeling. I need to work on this. And this is going to be really hard for me because I love to journal, but I'm very unorganized in it, in order to focus on something. So like my journals are all over the place for the most part. I mean, like I have the journal that I use the most is my watercolor journal. They throw, just do some watercolor in it. And also if I'm reading a devotional, I'll pick one up, something I read in the Bible, or something I read in a book and I want to write something down. I'll do that, and prayer in that one. Then I also have the body clutter journal that in this composition book. And I don't know where my little gratitude journal is. It's just a little tiny one that I found that I made a long time ago, and I thought I had it out here, but I don't see it. So when I find it, I'm going to do a video soon on journaling, because I saw these videos recently that came up on my feed. It's been a little while, but I've been watching a few of them, And there's some questions that they asked, 10 questions about journaling. So as soon as I get that, I'll pull out some of those journals. But most of the stuff is just kind of all over the place. I haven't really done one that's very specific. So my plan is to do some sort of bullet journal or something like that. And kind of start eliminating, because I've been struggling. I don't feel well most days. And part of it is allergies, because the pollen here, like I said earlier, is really high and it really gets to me. And you can hear it. And I have noticed that the year before, not last year, but the year before that, at the end, I got, I hardly ever get sick. And I got this cough that lasted for a while, but then it turned into what they think it may have been bronchitis. I didn't have strep throat or anything like that, but my throat was really hurting and my mouth inside was getting real inflamed. Well, I went through 2 courses of antibiotics. Nothing. The second one worked much better, because I did have the cough went away, and I did have like some wheezing in one lung, but I had taken like 6 months before I went to the doctor, so that could have been part of the problem there. But it started with allergies. And so I also had to have a steroid because the inflammation was so bad in my throat and my mouth that I couldn't really eat when it became like the end of the day. Just the inflammation would get worse, and they couldn't figure out what it was exactly. But for some reason the steroid did work, which is really good. At least it kind of got that taken care of. Hold on just a minute. So I won't be this doesn't change it, because it started out kind of similar, where like my ear would hurt a little, and just the dryness out here and the high pollen, it causes inflammation. And now with this new diagnosis, it makes a little more sense to me about body inflammation, because I do struggle with that a lot. I'll get just that feeling of whether it's in my hands swollen, my feet, or just like in general, just this really heavy feeling sometimes. And I've never really tracked what I was eating at the time or anything. Now, I mean, my thyroid is normal, like I said, so are my sugars. The last weigh-in that I did was at 199, which prior to that, at my highest, I was 242. And during this time taking Trulicity Mounjaro in the last 4 or 5 months or whatever it's been, I think I started off at 224 or something like that. So I have lost weight and everything. So I thought, oh, I'll be feeling better, but it just seems like the fatigue is still really, really bad. And I just attributed that to my sugars. I thought my sugars were still high. I thought my thyroid might have been out of control, because I just couldn't figure out what was going on. But part of this, Hashimoto's, there's a lot of fatigue with that. Plus I have other issues going on as well. So, there's a lot that I need to learn and a lot that I need to change. And one of the main things is to learn to be patient with myself.